So obviously, teledrama is my favorite TV show. One of the many things to like about it is a wide array of characters to choose from. Teledrama has a total of 87 characters, which many you'll likely like. I've already made my top 10 worst teledrama characters video. Link is in the description. Check that out if you haven't already. Now we are focusing on my favorite characters rather than my least favorites. The ones I love. I like characters where they're entertaining, interesting, strategy, competitive, or gameplaying, or funny. Experience development, and experience interesting interactions and relationships with others on the show. Please keep in mind that this video is full of my personal opinions. If you disagree with anything, I am A-okay with that. You can also write your opinions in the comments. But if you say anything hurtful, I will block you from commenting. So without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite teledrama characters. But before we begin, please remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Number 10 is Izzy. Izzy is always a joy for me to watch. She is a crazy, lovable redhead. Another thing I like is how strong she is and her survival instincts. I like how she likes to act as and befriend animals, how she always returns, and I like how she returns after you haven't gotten enough of her. Her love of horror, her ability to suck up and enjoy pain. I love her relationship with Owen, her numerous identities, her crazy made-up stories, how she has imaginary friends, and her rivalry with Chef. I also adore her Brainzilla arc in World Tour. Her love of danger and deer hunting and teleportation dust is also very entertaining. She is lower on this list because she does not compare as much to other characters that I like more. Number 9 is Dawn. Dawn is considered by some overrated. Well, her episode count is only 6, and she definitely needs more screen time. Which is one thing I like about her. The really big thing that makes me love her is her supernatural powers, like talking to animals, reading minds, predicting the future, teleporting and floating, which makes her interesting. I like the sound of her voice too, it's soothing. I also love her love of nature. If any character needs more screen time, it's Dawn and Brick. They should have made Revenge's merge in All-Stars instead of boring Mike and Abomination Zoe. Dawn's episode count is only 6, sadly, and definitely has wasted potential. Why couldn't they have her and Brick merge in All-Stars instead of the boring trio? Why didn't they focus so much on the boring trio, Cameron, Mike, and Zoe, anyways? Like, why of all people did they focus on the boring trio? There are way more interesting characters they could have focused on instead of them. Like, for example, Dawn, Brick, Bea, Maria, Dakota. Number 8 is Gwen. One of teledrama's biggest faces, Gwen was absolutely legendary in Island. She experienced legendary development over the course of that season. She started off as a stereotypical goth girl that didn't want to be there. Some great examples include her not putting up with BS, her relatability, her relationship with Trent, her interactions with Cody, her friendship with Lashana, her rivalry with Heather, her friendship with Duncan, trial by triarm triathlon, fighting off the psycho killer, deciding she actually wants to win, showing a nicer emotional side at times, breaking out of her shell, and making it to the finale against Owen. But she is significantly derailed in action with the whole Trent thing. She gets a friendship with Courtney, which is thrown out the window, who gets even worse in World Tour with the disgrace known as Duncan, and by All-Stars, anything to the slightest bit positive has completely faded away. She unfortunately suffered the worst case of character derailment in teledrama history. She would be number 2 or even number 1 if it weren't for the other seasons, especially All-Stars, really dragging her down. But she was too much of a legend in Island to not be in my top 10 favorites. Number 7 is Alejandro. Alejandro Muerto, the super hot muchacho from Spain. What I really love about him is how much charm he has, and he also has a dark side. I also think his voice is pretty soothing. He's either sweet and charming or willing to make you fall down a 1,000-foot pole. I love how he seduces the girls and gets them eliminated, and one by one they will all go down. As a villain in World Tour, he was able to get Harold to quit, Tyler to spill the beans about Duncan, and Noah and Owen voted out, in addition to seducing the girls. He eliminated Bridget and Lashana, so the latter was poorly handled. He was the second best villain to Heather. I put him second best other than first, which is what most people put him on first, but I put him in second best for villains is because he got Lashana derailed because she and Heather were made up in action. So this isn't something a good friend would do. Throwing that development out the window. And he seduced Courtney, and of all people, you'd think Courtney would know he was using her. He had great rivalries with Duncan, Sierra, especially Heather. His relationship with Heather is my favorite relationship in the series. He was the only villain to win a season. Hey, that rhymes. The finale was epic. He was new, went straight to the top, and Heather made him slide all the way to the bottom. In All-Stars, his voice actor didn't suit him, but I still liked him. And he opts to kill course. He warns everyone about Mal, but gets the punishment. It was frustrating how they dumped everyone down to make Mal look more intimidating. He and Heather finally got together in the finale. Hey, something good to come out of that finale. And I can also relate to him, because I hate being called variations of my name. Number 6 is Chris Mclean. Chris Mclean, the host, the most himself. He is literally the face of teledrama, which is one huge reason he's here. He is a very entertaining host, and the season I really adore him in are Island in action. His arrogance is attractive, his freakouts are hilarious, he was always fun and wasn't the complete psychopath then. He was a realistic host, and I love his friendship with Chef and them being a duo. He was crazy, but in an understanding way, and wasn't a complete psychopath and didn't make it too dangerous most of the time. And I love his starts and closures every episode. He even cared when Gwen encountered the actual psycho killer, which proves he actually cared. World Tour is where he began to decline and became more questionable. But he was still likable many times, aside from the feral Ezekiel thing. And he was beyond atrocious and went from an entertaining host who's to a complete psychopath trying to kill the campers from Revenge and Beyond. And this is why he isn't in my top 5. Number 5 is Jasmine. So now we're getting to the gods of teledrama. So, Pockettail Island undeniably sucks really hard, not as much as All-Stars, but there are a few shades of light in the dark room that I did like. And one of those shades of light is obviously Jasmine. The fact that Pockettail Island sucks makes Jasmine all the more easier to appreciate. She is the great Australian outback survivalist, which is a characteristic I like. She is an epic leader, leading her team to victory with a get things done attitude, and getting distractions out of the way. I like how her claustrophobia was explored in the This is the Pits episode. She is, in addition to a leader, very strong, and she can punch a tree to the ground and can hold Sean on her back in Skyfall without any problem. Her relationship with Sean is really amazing with the plotline it had. Her friendship with Sammy is another thing I adore about her. She's the only one that recognizes that Sammy is being abused by her sister, while everyone else is dumb enough to take Amy's side. She helps her through it, gives her tips, picks berries with her, tells her to stand up to her, gets Amy eliminated, and helps her pose as Amy. And she admitted to her that she had trouble making friends too, which also makes this friendship interesting. This proves that Jasmine isn't just a super strict leader, but is also very kind. The only reason she's the lowest of my top 5 is the episode A Blast from the Past and the episode Mo Monkey Mo Problems. She had a line that got on my nerves. When she got mad at Sean for getting her flowers. Is this how Canadian boys flirt? I hate to see how they proposed. She was one of the few saving graces of Pockettau. If she were given another season, she'd be at the levels of Heather, Gwen, and Courtney. Number 4 is Brick. Brick is my favorite character from the second generation. And like I said earlier, that he is the character, if any, needs more screen time and hasn't gotten enough. Don takes second place. He's very goofy, hilarious, and lovable, and is a lifesaver. I really adore his no man left behind policy, and how he will sacrifice anything to save anyone. Even if they're the enemy, he cares very deeply for others. One of the best things about Revenge as a whole is his rivalry with Joe. Joe favors victory above all else, and Brick has a strict policy of no man left behind. And a combination of the two makes a very interesting rivalry. And then, like most rivalries, this one was kinda lighthearted. And I like how Joe would really brag about how much better she was, and yes, you lost to a girl. His clumsiness and displacing his letters home to Mom award are all hilarious. I love his cadet characteristic, his childish characteristics, like his Fear of the Dark. He sacrificed his win and got eliminated to save the other team. He definitely has unused potential, like overcoming his Fear of the Dark. He's below the other 3 and probably be number 2 or even number 1 because he didn't get enough screen time. His episode count is only 8, like I said earlier. He and Don should have made Merge and All-Stars instead of Mike and Zoe, or even better, have him as the protagonist instead of Cameron. And I also like how embarrassing he can be. It's hilarious. But unfortunately, they wanted to focus on some really boring trio, lame finalist Cameron, most boring character Mike, and abomination Zoe, for some very weird reason, instead of interesting characters like him, Don, B, Dakota, and Maria. One big reason this season was meh for me. Number 3 is Lindsay. Lindsay. She's a dumb, lovable, blonde shopper girl. Nothing stops me from adoring her whenever she's on screen. So many little things love too, like her kind personality and obsession with being pretty in makeup. She has a great friendship with Beth, awesome relationship with Tyler, and Island. She is mostly Heather's slave, along with Beth, and is in love with Tyler. The moment where Lindsay finally stands up to Heather and curses at her is undeniably one of the best moments in the entire series. While she was mostly Heather's slave in Island, action is where she really shined. Her development this season was outstanding. Now she's proving she has a smart side, can be a leader, partake in challenges, and break out of her shell. She was the only one on her team who knew the scare props were fake, knew how to walk around carpet, became Admiral Lindsay her hotness, a legend, second best moment of hers behind cussing at Heather, and even outsmarted Courtney. She had a great rivalry with Courtney. Get a Clue is my favorite action episode and one of the best in the series because of Lindsay. My only complaint about Lindsay in action, and a really big one, was that she wasn't in the finale. She 1000% should have been in the finale of action instead of Beth. Like, how is she not? There have been rumors that Lindsay was supposed to be in the finale, but her voice actress had something in her schedule, so they had to put in Beth. If those rumors are true, I would have had her VA record her lines those episodes across the 21 episodes after. Her elimination was pure awful, and it just threw all the development in the trash. I will always fight for her placement in the finale in action. She was hilarious in World Tour. How she would always forget Tyler's name, and where she finally remembers it is so satisfying. And the moment where she stamps all the passports and looks at the picture and accidentally votes herself off is hilarious. Her friendship with DJ was also interesting. But All Stars, I never forget about what they did to her this season. It just really derailed her. They made her so dumb that she didn't know how to push a stroller or use a marker, which set all that development from action on fire and burnt it down. What a shame. Number 2 is Duncan. Duncan is one of teledrama's biggest faces. A big reason is that despite being a bad boy, deep down inside he has a heart of gold. He didn't care about anything or what anyone said. He is very strong because, well, he broke a whale and fought a crocodile. And his relationship with Courtney is flat out epic. He also gets along with the guys very well. Some examples of him having a good heart is him finding DJ new pet bunny and working together with his Harold in action. And I do like his friendship with Jeff and Owen as well. He's also very relatable. Aside from no wanting to commit crime, I don't want to be a criminal. I love his rivalry with Harold. He's even better in action with his rivalry with Harold and relationship with Courtney still going strong. His rivalry with Harold, like I said, is still going strong. I also like his rivalry with Lashana and Scruffy was pretty cute. And his relationship with Courtney got some plotline with the ups and downs in action. I was pretty happy to see him win too. Emerald Tour, he goes downhill. He quit the first episode, was brought back when we knew he wouldn't win, and then there was a horrible love triangle, which butchered all of them. Threw away what I liked about him, his heart, and he became a massive hypocrite. And don't get me started on how much All Stars ruined him, with the running joke of being soft. You know what? I'll just go back to Island and action. Before I unveil my number 1 favorite teledrama character of all time, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1 is Heather. Well, I have mentioned that Heather is my number 1 favorite teledrama character of all time previously. I have a video on my top 5 reasons why. So if you want to see more on this section, check out that video. Link is in the upper right hand corner. Also, if there's no Owen, Duncan, Gwen, Heather, or Courtney in your top 10, you're probably not a big fan of the show. Well, there you have it, my top 10 favorite teledrama characters. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Who are your favorite teledrama characters? Please let me know in the comments.